Today, my dear students, we begin our lecture on the digestive system. So I like to always start with this question when we discuss a system, because we want to understand why we need this thing. So the goal is from our cadaver demo yesterday. You learned there's a lot of parts involved in the digestive system. Seems like if we get rid of that, we can...
Mr. Hellig?
Yes.
We need Andrew King to sign out.
Okay.
Thanks.
That was quite well.
Viewers at home, Andrew King is signing out. All right. The goal of this system is to, like I said, if we can get rid of this, we can save a lot of space. There's a lot of organs we don't need. There was all that intestine looking like the handkerchief trick or the scarf trick, you know, just like pulling it out like crazy. And then, why do we need a digestive system? What's the goal here?
Nutrients.
Let's start with that. Provide nutrients for the body. That's number one, okay? And you hear the word nutrients, supplies of necessary nutrients. Nutrients. What are nutrients? Here's what they are, okay, you ready? They're the raw materials. They're the building materials that make us. There are all kinds of different stuff. There are micronutrients and macronutrients. Can include things like proteins, also things like vitamins. Basically anything that somehow contributes to building us back. Well, why? I'm already here. Why do I need to build me back? I don't need to get any bigger. The thing is, you're deteriorating. I'm sorry to tell you that. You're falling apart. Good news is, you're building back up again at the same time. Those proteins that are doing jobs in your cells, let's just focus on that for just 1 minute. Those enzymes in your cells that are carrying about their metabolic reactions. Steadily, they're falling apart. It's wear and tear. Like anything that encounters friction or does work is going to get worn down. And just our enzymes, for example, in our cells are going to get worn down. And as they do, the body breaks them down into their subsequent amino acids, breaks those amino acids down into urea, and then you pee that out. So you got to replace that stuff. Okay? You got to replace the fats that are in your cell membranes. You got to replace all kinds of different stuff. In fact, you need more fats to be able to build new cells that have cell membranes. So we have to have raw materials to get the job done. But beyond the raw materials, the goal of the system is to provide what?
Waste removal.
Well, waste, this basically would be serving itself, if you think about it in that context. We would have the system to make the waste that it needs to remove. Let's get away from waste just for a moment. It's true. I agree. I agree that we poop. Okay? You won't hear me arguing otherwise. Okay? There's even a book about it. Everybody poops. Yeah. It's a children's book. It's a little weird. It's a little weird because when you really think about that, everybody poops. It's intense. All right. Okay. Provide. What do we need besides the raw materials? Oh, I heard somebody say it. Who said it? Yes. Provide energy. Energy. Now the cool thing, okay, energy is measured in calories. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Like calories are bad. No, calories are good, okay? But too many calories is bad. Here's how efficient the body is. If you don't use it up, you store it for a rainy day. Sometimes we don't see a whole lot of rainy days because we live in a place that there's a great abundance of food. That has been our issue. So if we eat more calories or more energy than we can use, our body stores it as fat. If we eat less, then it burns our reserves, and it's pretty simple setup. But we have to have this because that's the energy that fuels all of the chemical reactions. So we need the raw materials and we need the energy. Did you guys figure out where the energy is in the food that you eat? Oh, yeah. Say that again.
In the bond.
Like a boss. Okay. Energy. stored in chemical bonds. Okay? Because when we eat these things and they get we get them absorbed into our cells, and our cells, the mitochondria, break those bonds, that's when the energy starts getting released to make ATP and actually do stuff. So we have the raw materials. So eating has twofold purpose, and they're both kind of wrapped up together because you're eating these things which include the raw materials, we break them apart, and we get the calories out of it. So it's really a really great system. Think about the variety of things we eat. I'm going to eat a Pop-Tart, this strange toaster pastry that was designed by some mastermind at a factory. I shove that in my face, and my body can use that for energy. I'm like, hey, there's a cow, and I'm thinking, hey, it makes milk for its young. And for some reason, I deserve that too. So I pour that in my cereal, and I eat that. And I'm like, you know what's better than milk? So I take a piece out of that cow, and I eat that, and my body can somehow convert that into energy. And I rip plants up from the ground and start shoving them in my gullet. It's amazing. That's not what my day looks like. I don't want you to think that that's what I do daily, but the quantity and the variety of things that we can put into our bodies and we can turn into energy is just really staggering. But it's really amazing what our body does with it. So let's talk about how that's done, and I'm going to start with some basic anatomy. So basic anatomy of the digestive system is divided in two. And there's really just two major categories of things we're going to put parts into. First is the digestive tract. Tract is a fancy word for tube or passageway. The digestive tract. All right. Yeah, passageway is better because you have a respiratory tract too, which is actually thousands and thousands of passageways. And then in addition to that, we have accessory organs and structures. Okay, so there are some organs that are part of the tube that we wouldn't really include as the accessories. What are some parts of this tube? Esophagus. Good. What else? Stomach. Uh-huh. What else did you see yesterday, gang? Colon. Yeah. Small intestine. All part of the tract, the tube. We'll come back to that in just a minute. How about accessory organs and structures? What else will you find along the digestive tract that may help with the process? Gallbladder. Good. What color is the gallbladder?
Green.
Green. Super green, as a matter of fact. Liver. Got to have it to live. That's why I call it a liver. All right. Then we have the pancreas. We could include, teeth, all kinds of stuff in this too. But let's go to the digestive tract for just a minute. I'm going to zoom over here. Let's start with mouth. And I had mouth and oral cavity as two different things. It's really pretty much the same thing. I was thinking more the mouth being the opening, the oral cavity is the space inside, but yeah, the mouth is the same thing. So mouth, from there, where does food go after the mouth? Throat. And what's the word we learned for that? Pharynx. Pharynx is our throat. After the pharynx, we're headed to the esophagus. And after the esophagus, our food arrives at the stomach. Yep, at the stomach.
True.
Yeah. Or stomach for people who can read and write. All right. Stomach. What's after the stomach? Not yet. Yeah. I'm going to spread it out. What am I trying to tell you here?
quite long.
It's long. It's really long. It's like 23 feet. Yeah. There are 3 sections of it that I want to write underneath. That's the other reason I want to stretch it out. Anybody remember the names of these? Jejunum's one of them. Don't get punched in the jejunum. Ilium's another one. Good. And the first one?
Or movie. And it's the one with basketball players, you know.
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
Get punched in the jejunum.
It made you puke.
Duodenum or duodenum. Peter Griffin mentioned his duodenum in an episode. Stewie was shrunk down, fired some lasers. Yeah, we're in the duodenum. He fired some lasers. He's like, and Peter's like, my duodenum's acting up. All right. I was like, that's specific. All right. Then jejunum. And the last one is ilium. Now, you may have heard the word ilium before, or you should have, because we studied it. What'd you say? Yeah, your hip bone. It is spelled differently, though. Ilium is the hip bone is I-L-I-U-M. This one is I-L-E-U-M. 3 sections of the small intestine, then large intestine.
So is that the order they got in?
Yes, this is the order that they're headed in. Okay. Large intestine. Much of the large intestine is synonymous with the word colon, and depending on who you talk to, they say, colons is the exact same thing as the large intestine, and some will distinguish out certain features to be one and not the other, but for our purposes, it's fine. And then the last is anus, otherwise known as the anus, which is the exit portal. All right? Yeah. It is a sphincter because it is a round muscle. So this tube goes straight through you, okay? Your food is somewhere along, your food from lunch is somewhere along this destination. Doesn't stay here very long. If it's from lunch, it's probably in here. Maybe some of it's worked its way here. Breakfast is probably here, okay? A little further along. It's different timing for different people. Some people it works a little faster, works a little slower. Has to do with whether you're male or female, you're young or old, how active you are, and things like that. You want to know how fast yours works? Eat some corn. Yep. Yeah. Eat some, write down what time that is. And then when you see corn in the toilet, that's how long it took. I know that's nasty. It works, though. It works.
Have you done it?
Not on purpose, but like about 12 hours. It's for me, you know. Everybody's a little different. Now you know. And now you do at home, too, viewers. All right. Okay. But it's different. There's things that speed it up, the things that slow it down. If I would have decided to eat a quarter cup of Dawn dish soap, I could have sped the process along quite a bit. But that's not a good idea. That's not a good laxative. All right. Okay. Now here's the deal about the body. The body is like a donut. Go ahead and write that down. Body is like a donut. Well, how's a body like a donut? So glad you guys asked me that question. Going back to your development when you were really, 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 really little. How little? You were 1 cell.
Okay.
1 cell. You were 1 fertilized egg. Sperm met egg, there you are. Okay? That fertilized egg, there you are. Divided and 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 became a hollow ball of cells that looked like that. Okay? That's called a blastula. Then something amazing happened. Ready? You got a dent. You look like the Death Star. Okay? Then you got a dent at the other end. Look at that. There's already a dent there because I pushed on it. Then these 2 dents pushed through like this. And they met in the middle. And that hole went all the way through you. Congratulations. You are a donut. Now, I will tell you that the donut did not look exactly donut-like. There were no sprinkles. Okay? But this is how your gut formed in a process called gastrulation. And this tube followed you for your whole life. Now, I will tell you that in human development, this tube was a little more elongated and not perfectly donut shaped. There are some things that are slightly inaccurate with this demonstration, but the donut part about the pushing through, the outside pushing through the middle, making this hole, that's true, okay? And this is your gut. And as you elongate, this gut followed through. But the important part of this piece of information is this. The outside made your inside. And there are some characteristics of that follow through for your entire life. Okay? So let's write this down here. During embryonic development, the outside layer of the blastula, hollow ball of cells, pushed through both ends to make a tube, which became your gut. Like gut, like a fat belly? No. This digestive tract, its other name is gut. Okay? If you hear the word digestive tract, it is synonymous with the word gut. Let me read this. During embryonic development, the outside layer of the blastula, hollow ball of cells, pushed through both ends to make a tube, which became our gut. Okay? So that's how we are like a donut, and we followed through with that for all of our life, and it continues. Now, the neat part about this is a couple of things. One, that it went all the way through. Okay? If you were a jellyfish, it wouldn't have. They do the same process, but not in the same way. This process is called, if you want to write it down, it's called gastrulation. Gastrulation. Gastric has to do with stomach or gut. So this is the process of your gut forming in embryonic development. For jellyfish, it doesn't happen exactly like this. It pushes through one end and then stops. So they have to poop out of the same hole that they eat. That's unfortunate. So just be grateful that you've got the donut situation. All right. Now, here's the neat part about this. This tube remains part of the external environment of the body. The external environment of the body. The outside pushed through to make the inside. Well, folks, the outside of your body is kind of gross. No offense. But it's covered in bacteria. It encounters all kinds of pathogens and things like that. The same is true with your gut. It's loaded with bacteria. So let's compare and contrast the external and internal environment. And what they include. And we'll call it a day. External and internal environments of the body. Okay? External, I just told you, includes what? That's true. Okay? Has bacteria. I'll put this out to the side. Has bacteria. But give me some like structures, organs, things like that. Skin. Yeah, your skin is in the external environment of your body. It's basically creating or fighting to create a good, watertight, invader-tight border for the internal environment to protect you from things that would like to invade. Okay? What else you just learned is what? Digestive tract. Digestive tract. Ooh. What other tract? Respiratory tract. Yeah. How did somebody say? Surface of your eyes? Yeah, that's true. Surface of eyes are exposed as well. How about internal? Name some stuff.
Your heart.
Heart. Uh-huh. Blood. Bones. Muscles. This is all, folks, this is sterile. I'm not talking about, in this case, not being able to reproduce. In this case, sterile means it is without, in a healthy person, it's without any bacteria. The trick, folks, that your body is spending most of all of your life and much of your energy is to keep this barrier solid, okay? If you can keep this barrier solid, you don't die of massive infection, okay? But if I do get it cut on my skin and I don't treat it, what's going to happen? Well, I could get staph, yeah, but that's just one type of infection. Staph is short for staphylococcus, which is one type of bacteria that could infect. But even a small cut or abrasion, I don't have one on me right now, but like around the area gets red and puffy because what happens is bacteria tries to invade that space, and then blood vessels around that area dilate as we're trying to send more blood there with more white blood cells to fight that infection. Like, let's kill this stuff so it doesn't take over our whole body. Now, here is a kind of a freaky statistic right here. All right. Of the cells that make us up, I'm going to give you a ballpark figure. About 100 trillion cells in the human body, between red blood cells, muscles, bone, everything like that. In your intestine, the numbers of bacteria are in the quadrillions. There are more of them than there are of you. Yeah. But we don't try to kill them there. In fact, we want them there. We want bacteria in our large intestine because they help us break down food that we can't. So they actually assist us. If you remember in biology, you learned a term called mutualism, a relationship where you and another species or two different species both benefit from their relationship. That's mutualism. They have a constant onslaught of food. They don't have to go out and find it. They don't have to find a place to be safe and warm and moist. They've got that there for them. And they're fed, and you get the nutrients that they get that they break down with their enzymes. So, more bacteria inside your body than you have your own body cells, and there is a barrier between the external and internal environment of the body. And that's it for today, gang.